Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel as I explore this amazing, phenomenal, incredibly interesting wide world of pens that I'm very fortunate to be able to show you pens like these, rotating in front of you, held up by crabs, and being watched by Miss Sizemore and Mr. Sizemore. Life couldn't be better. And these are two very nice pens which were sent to me by Asvine for a review. I've done a few of these pens that Asvine has sent me in the past, so they might be happy with my reviews. I certainly am happy with the pens, which is the more important part. And these pens come in three colors. I have two out of the three. I have the clear light brown, the frosted blue, and there's also a frosted white. But I'm just not into white light colored pens. I think the blue is an incredible color, matched up with the gold trim. It's just beautiful. Classic shape, classic design. You may have heard that term in other videos, but these pens also warrant that description. So we're going to let them rotate around. Mr. Crab's going to give you a winky wink, and we're going to look at these pens in more detail. And I have an ink for the blue one to show you how it writes. Stay tuned. So you may ask, how are these pens packaged? And these are the packages I received my pens in. It's a frosted plastic box. It's recyclable. There's a little recyclable symbol there. It's also imprinted with the Asvine name, and you see the instruction manual. It just pops open. They've always been having good manuals with their pens, and this is the same. All the different filling mechanisms. And then if we flip it over, we get more filling systems, dropper filler, Vac-Filler, which is what we have here. And then we have the maintain the fountain pen, which I think is always good to include for those that may want to refresh or learn about how to keep their pens. And Asvine is also very good at supporting their customer base. Then we pop out the pen, held in this nice foam insert in a plastic sleeve, and voila, we have a pen. You've seen this one rotating. Now you get to see it in my hand. So the frosted plastic box is inside of this cardboard cover. No identifying markings on it, but it tells you what's in there. An Asvine pen. So now we're going to see how many turns it takes for the cap to come off. Yep, less than 1.5, which is always nice. We'll see the same section with that frosted material that the whole pen is made out of. It's dark because of the feed in there, I think. It fits nicely in the hand. It feels good. It's a light pen, and we would expect it to post well based on its design, and it does. It posts deeply, it posts securely, and that cap is fairly light, so there's really no change in the balance. It feels nice posted, which many pens don't. Either post or feel good when you do post them. You know, it's identified on the cap band as Asvine. We flip it over and we see the model number V126, so that's very, very nice. Just a ball clip, familiar to most. Very springy, very functional. Cap finial, you know, it's that standard cigar-shaped bullet nose, whatever you want to call it. It's been around for a long, long time. So that's the pen. Let's ink it up and put that nib to work. I'm going to ink up the blue pen, and this ink immediately came to mind. I got it a while ago. It's Pen BBS ink. At one of the seasons, they put it in this type of plastic box, which is very, very nice. But what I really enjoy about it, it's a great blue, very bright blue. There's a little bit of sheen in there, a little bit of red sheen. Flow's always good with Pen BBS inks. I've enjoyed them. Let's see how it works in the Asvine. So I did my usual cleaning of the nib and feed before I inked it. And with the Vac-Filler, I don't get a chance to do those 3 fills that I normally do with a converter, but the first time this nib hit paper, it felt great, it wrote great, and it has consistently written well for the couple days that I've had it. As you can see, it puts down a very generous amount of ink. It's a medium steel nib, and the Asvine mediums, I have a few of them, they're all consistently good writers. And for someone who wants a pen that comes right out of the box ready to write well and doesn't require any tuning, I've found these nibs to meet that criteria very, very well. And that's part of the differences between a $5 or $10 pen and a $20 and $30 pen, in my opinion. You should get a little bit better build, a little bit tighter tolerances on all the different parts. Feels great in the hand, and the nib generally write very, very well. I certainly enjoy them. So here we have the Asvine V126 partially disassembled. I primarily wanted to show how the section, nib and feed, etc., work in the barrel with the vacuum filling mechanism. But this pen, again, is very, very well made. You know, that machining of the acrylic, when they turned it, they got a little ledge there, and that little ledge seals up against the section. As you can see now, that section seats against that ledge. Keep that nib in a small area so it doesn't dry out as much. The nib is in a common Moonman nib assembly. So just to verify, there's the Moonman one. The O-rings on this one have disintegrated, so I will replace them with my supply of O-rings, but the threading at the end is the same. And that's really what allows this nib assembly to work in any pen that'll take a Moonman nib assembly. And I've been finding them in more and more pens, which is interesting. So my guess is the subcontractor that makes these nib assemblies for Moonman has gone off and make them for other pen makers and pen models. So you can see how that mechanism works. So in this case, I have the cap, the blind cap off, unscrewed, and that would open up ink flow into the section. As you can see, it's just easy to pull up, push down. You can see how it moves on its own when I use my fingers at the end, but of course if you don't do that, you get that nice pop. So, you know, it's a classic Vac-Filler design, works well, and I really like it in this brown color, and I like it even more in that frosted blue color. So I'm very generous every time I find a pen part like this with threads and O-rings. I put a little bit of silicone grease on threads and on O-rings just to ensure that they seal nice, and also I think that lubrication helps them last longer and help them make the seal even better. Just wanted to show you that. We will put silicone grease on these threads and that O-ring also to ensure that they seal well and also screw together nice and smoothly and are easy to disassemble when needed. They're in dark mode, so I thought it would be nice to show you how that shutoff valve works in this Vac-Filler. The blind cap is screwed all the way down. As you unscrew the blind cap, you'll see that that valve comes away from the top of the section, allowing ink to flow down through the section into the feed, into the nib, and onto your writing material. If you keep unscrewing, then you can eventually pull that rod all the way up. And then as you push it down to fill, that vacuum will pull up ink, and then when you're done, you screw down the blind cap and you seal off the section from the ink capacity in the barrel, thus minimizing burping or any other unfortunate ink accidents that could happen. So I just did a one fill, and as you can see, it's about half full, maybe a little less than half full. I'd say that's maybe 1.3, 1.4 milliliters as I visually estimate the volume. And to me, in order to fill a vac filler a little bit more, it takes a lot more work and never necessarily produces significantly more fill. If you use one of those Vac-Fil bottles, which TWSBI makes and I think Visconti has, you can get more, but I'm satisfied with that amount of ink in this pen. So I'm not going to completely take apart any of these Asvine piston fillers, but as you can see here, I took apart Pen BBS 456, which has been around for a while. But one thing you'll notice is that these two vac filling systems appear to be pretty identical. Not exactly, but very, very close. And I've noticed that all of my vac fillers, at least those from the Asian countries, have a similar system. This top here where the blind cap screws onto, these threads are flattened on one side, and it's 6.7 millimeters or 17/64 of an inch. Or, as Doug shows, you can take a credit card and make a cut in it and use that to remove it. I don't try that because I have wrenches that fit well. So these vac fillers, I think, have all been consistently good. But what other options do we have? So one pen that people relate to a lot is the TWSBI Vac 700R, is the one I have here now. It was given to me by Penboy Roy in exchange for a pen I sent him. And this also has a similar vac filling system, not exactly like the others. You notice it doesn't have that little shut-off extra O-ring. Looks like it uses one O-ring to accomplish everything. Substantial pen, well made. I like the frosted clip. But you may ask, what if I just want to experiment with a vac filler and decide whether it's a pen that I want? Well, this is a Wing Sung, or comes under various names, but it's a 3013 or 013. And this works great, and it's under $5 US. As you can see, it has that same metal construction here at the top, but there's no flat spot because this ring unscrews easily to take off the vac filling mechanism for cleaning, lubricating, whatever you would like to do. You know, as I said before, when I do any type of opening up or repairing or disassembly, I generally silicone grease anything that's an O-ring or anything that has threads that seal up ink. So here, this rod, in this case, sometimes this rod can corrode on this inexpensive pen, but it's not consistent, so therefore don't worry about it. The other pens that are more costly have a stainless steel rod which resists the corrosive capabilities of some inks. And this works great as a piston filler. So something you might want to consider. It has a nice clear feed. It has a pilot style nib, so it's easy to swap out if you wanted to replace it with a nib from your 78G or Kakuna or Metropolitan. It's fairly well made. I think it's extremely good value for the price that it is. So that's some exploration on Vac-Fil pen. I recently got a package from Timo. I've been very, very happy, very pleased. I bought a number of different articles from them. It's all been great quality, great pricing, and they deliver very, very quickly. This order was delivered in 8 days from order to my receipt. And what I bought were 3 calligraphy nibs in the Lamy style. They came packaged this way, which I find to be very, very good considering the price. I put one of these in a Jinhao 35, and it's a pen I've been using ever since. And this is part of that series. They make these calligraphy nibs now in a number of styles. Again, this is the Lamy style. So if you're interested in any, I strongly recommend you give them a shout out. You can get this for like under $4 delivered, and the writing experience is great. So hopefully you've enjoyed this look at two great pens that I'm very lucky to be able to show to you. Thanks to Asvine Pens for sending them to me. I really appreciate it. I just enjoy these. So one of the things that we'll talk about is, here's the dimensions. It's always good to keep in mind the size, the shape, the weight, etc., etc. So these are two different finishes, and the frosted finish generally costs a few dollars more than the brown glossy finish. I assume it's a secondary operation that they use to frost it, and that generates a higher cost. And to me, that's just one indication of the very narrow profit margins these resellers of these pens work with. So one of the things that I noticed is that the frosted pen is just slightly slippery in the hand, especially if you compare it to the brown finish. Even though this is a glossy finish, it has more, I don't know what the best word for it is. It just has a property to it that makes it not slippery. Whereas this pen is slippery. It almost feels like a metal pen. Not exactly as slippery as like a chrome pen, but certainly more slippery. So keep that in mind when you consider which pen you would like. So I think that sums it up. 2 thumbs up, big thumbs up on this V126. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. As my channel has declining viewers over time. It's been going on for the last couple years, but I enjoy making them. And as long as a few people enjoy watching them, that's good for me. Hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy. Enjoying your pens, putting some ink down. That's what the fun part is, at least for me. And hopefully these videos help you enjoy your pens more. We've reached the conclusion of this video. It is the end. And we're going to say bye. Until the next one. Maybe we'll do a restoration next, as the viewers voted for.